Hello, folks. Welcome to the Speedgaming Live 2023 Timespinner Randomizer Tournament. I am Jim the Eternal. Joining me in the booth is Llama.
Hello! I am so excited.
I am so excited too. We've got two wonderful racers here today. We've got UrzaMTG on the left. We've got Planeswater on the right. Both of them just showing incredible performances this year, this tournament. Planeswater, the second place, I believe, finisher from last year, did incredible job against the eventual winner. Urza, new to the tournament scene, but definitely showing some really solid running and some great decision making. Just really excellent routing from Urza so far, upsetting against some very solid racers. So I'm really thrilled to see.
Urza did get the second place in the qualifier, if I remember correctly.
Yep, Urza got second place in the qualifiers, which was also an incredible seed. Planeswater, I think, somewhere in the top 4, I want to say.
Planeswater was 5th.
5th? Okay. But yeah, still, both of them just absolute titans so far. Mm-hmm. I'm very thrilled to see how this is going to look. We have, that looks like Radiant Neutral.
Yeah, it looks like our streams are a little desynced, but we'll catch them up soon, I hope. Urza's is real behind. Oof.
And then Dark Flames Plus is pretty good. Not one of the powerhouse spells that we're usually on the lookout for, but any plus spell is a great start.
Indeed. It's not that gun minus start that we were hearing.
Not gun minus. So, as usual, we're going to be on the lookout for, immediate relevant progression. This is great. So this means that...
Divergence, oh boy.
There is the possibility for some divergence here. That's very exciting. Whoa!
What? Okay.
Right, so routing is just incredibly wide open right at the beginning. The Timespinner wheel allows our runners to get past several early obstacles that would usually require additional vertical, and the water mask allows our runners to check underwater in a variety of places. And okay, so this is an interesting pause, but it looks like from where this pause is happening that Planeswater is heading left.
See that left movement
chest.
There,
right? Yeah, the sprite looks like Planeswater is going to be heading in that direction, which is really exciting. Mm-hmm. We haven't seen what decision Urza is going to make. He's gonna check that chest like everybody does, and then head in one direction or another.
Yeah, I saw Urza check the map to see where was flooded before getting the water mask, but I don't remember the result.
So Urza also heading left here, which is fascinating. So both of our runners going off to the side here, making the butterfly jump. This is a little bit technical. It's I'm going to salve my own ego and say it's harder than it looks.
Yeah, I've seen quite a few people miss it. I think the trick is don't even try to stand on top of it. If you get the butterfly in a good spot, just jump straight over it.
Yeah, and that definitely worked for both of our runners here, so that's great. So what I'm expecting to see is tagging the warp here on the left, and then probably heading back out. But they might decide to go all the way through to check out Lake Serene, since Lake Serene is accessible, given that they have the water mask.
We have Urza warping back.
Yep.
And so Planeswater heading to Lake Serene.
Ooh.
Divergence, yes, this is what I've always wanted.
So we're going to see Urza taking the sort of traditional path here, moving on into the palace, getting quite a few warp points along the way, I'd expect.
Yeah. All right, timers are back to being mostly synced.
Good.
Thank you so much for helping us. Our volunteers from Speedgaming Live are just amazing. Thank you.
That water mask is actually means that Urza can check waterfall immediately, so we're not going to see waterfall getting faded. But yeah, this is wild.
We got that V key card in the area both of them checked. Not really useful till they have access to the present, and also the downloads, the tablet.
I see what Planeswater's doing here. Planeswater's kind of making a gamble on the Eels checks, getting them a little bit early just to see what they have, but then not committing to crossing over that Canterin room. So if Planeswater had headed left from there, they would have entered the Canterin room with a very easy mini-boss, quote-unquote mini-boss fight. But upon revisiting that room, there would have been a much harder boss fight there, which means that in order to get to any warp point after passing that room...
They have the wheel, though.
Mm-hmm.
They can
they still have to get through Azure Queen. Right? In order to get to any warp point, they have to go through a boss at that point.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be Canteran's spot.
Right. Not necessarily Canteran's spot, sure. But yeah, they would have been potentially stuck in a situation where they needed to fight a boss or needed to warp out in order to move on. And that's a dangerous situation to be in.
Oh yeah, that is fair. We did get a fire source at Waterfall, so that's tempting them to go again back to Lake Serene, but I don't think either of them is going to follow that just yet. Absolutely. Without fire, Lake Serene certainly looks less tempting. Fire allowing them to burn the vines, which opens up a couple of checks in the present once they eventually get there. Mm-hmm. Urza taking the bottom route now in order to tag the warp in front of the upper caves of banishment, and then probably heading back up to the palace afterwards. Probably. They do have the water mask though, so Urza's gonna go upper banishment, because why not? Right? I love this. I love this play. God, just having the water mask. Yeah, right? Fun. Having the water mask early changes things. Yeah. Man, I was gonna say something. What was I gonna say? Must not be important. This is my mind is blown. Yeah, this is really interesting routing. Like, these are all decisions that I know I've never had to make before, so I'm really excited to see what they decide to do. Wef pointed out, yes, that's what I was going to mention. Technically, you can get up on Bat Ledge with single jump and just the wheel. It is a nightmare, and neither of our runners are going for it because it's out of logic. Understandable. Planeswater picking up an Empire Crown in the flooded mode, so that water mask definitely paying off. Empire Crown, a large amount of damage. The most damage possible out of the head slot for equipment. Urza getting a little bullied by these slimes. Both the slimes of them and the mushrooms together. Kind of low. Oh no! That's low so level for the area, which means. Did Urza tag to save on the right? No. That's such a setback. Oof, but hey, Mayef. Look on the bright side. You get Mayef now. But because of that, I am actually going to switch our audio over to Planeswater. Yeah, that's a good minute and a half or so, maybe a little bit more that Urza lost there. Gotta do Waterfall again. Maybe won't try that upper banishment, because those slimes and towers are really annoying if you don't have something to just clear them out. Fire Plus on Planeswater's side, so the actual Fire Orb, one of the better weapons, honestly. Fire Orb doesn't have a lot of range, but it does hit twice, and being Plus, it's going to be a lot of damage. It also goes up and below, so you get kind of a nice an area of attack. Absolutely. Urza smartly remembering that he only needed the fire source from the waterfall and didn't check the little cranny underneath the waterfall for the thing that he didn't need. Ooh! Blorb! Blood Plus. Wow. I love Blood Orb. It's really nice, and it goes behind those shields. Like that. Excellent. Yeah, that's going to be really useful here. So Planeswater's going to be racking up the XP moving on. Woohoo! There's the hairpin. God, everything's coming fast and furious. These are such good items. No Teleria yet, but I'm expecting one soon. Yeah, and that allows them to get up to the warp in Ilana's tower, and they could continue on if they wanted to time stop the little demon, but I don't think they will, unless they have no other options. Without infinite vertical, the Ilana's towers is a little less tempting. Modern warp beacon. We didn't see where the warp is, but that is present. It said tower something. Tower something. Okay. Well, I'll keep an eye out when Urza gets there. And wow! I'm just mind blown with all the stuff our runners are getting. This is such a party.
So yeah, there's flooded moat. All right, so they're going to be here for a bit. This is going to take a little bit of time.
Yep.
Or
oh, nope, not doing it. That's fair.
Planeswalker sees the water and says, "This is not worth it."
That is fair.
So Planeswater won't be able to save Scum out either, because Planeswater didn't visit the warp, or the save rather, near the basement loop. So Planeswater's going to come up here, get the warp next to Ilana's towers. No access to the pink room yet, and we'll see kind of what decision he wants to make there. Maybe he's going for warp shards to make all these one-off checks a little bit easier.
That'd be a smart play. Yeah, you can get up to the shop here.
I definitely like this play because there's a lot of one-offs that you can get with the water mask. There's a lot of places you can go that are just dead ends.
And also there's slow dead ends. So
yeah, especially with all the water that we're seeing. There's a lot of filled areas. So this is something that is new to the tournament. We've been through these explanations before, but just for the sake of it. Rising Tides is the flag that allows certain areas that wouldn't otherwise have water to be filled with water, or sometimes allows certain places that would normally have water to be drained. In this case, we're seeing the moat have water when it usually doesn't. We're seeing the basement loop have water when it usually doesn't. And while that's not going to affect where our runners can go, because they got the water mask almost instantly this seed, it does mean that those checks are going to be slower than they might otherwise be. It's a lot slower moving in water.
Luckily, though, we do have the Unchained Keys flag, which does mean they have the fast travel. Here's the warp. Lake Desolation. No towers whatsoever. It does mean they have that fast travel right off the bats. Ah, bees! Most of the bees died.
Bees do not like being wet.
That is fair. Ooh. Struggle juggle. No! Chaos! Got some Chaos Roses. And we have Urza doubling back to Lake Serene.
Okay, so this is interesting. I wonder if Urza feels like he has the strength now to kind of surpass the things that would be a little bit of a blockade here. Figuring out that he can probably beat Azure Queen with what he has, and he has access to fire, so he doesn't have to come back in order to burn the vines. I like this. I like this.
Planeswater checking Struggle Juggle and the courtyard, and doubling back to do the Twins area.
Did you see if Planeswater hit the shop?
He did. He got some warp shards and sold some things.
Yeah, that's going to be potentially a big deal when it comes to routing some of the more out-of-the-way checks later on in the seed.
Yep.
I think right now, nothing is really out of the way, right? Anything they go to is just on the way to something else.
Planeswater was awarded the bird statue after doing the Struggle Juggle, so...
Unfortunate.
Yep.
Bird statue preventing the chaos effect, which removes all of the sand in your
So, Urza got the Pyramid Warp and the Gas Mask.
Oh, wow.
So, it's just handing out like candy. Like,
yep.
Here's some progression for you.
Gas Mask on the way to Maw is good. Gas Mask generally, though, is frequently been bait with the way these seeds have gone this tournament.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee, especially with the Pyramid Warp in hand, that you're going to need to kill the Maw at all, let alone go past the laser gate that the Maw would stop you from crossing.
I don't believe Urza is ahead, but I am going to switch over because everyone loves this song.
A reasonable selfish decision. Planeswater facing the Golden Idol location?
The Sandman is weak to fire, and we have Fire Plus, so this is not going to be too bad to do.
Yeah, we have a lot of fire, and this is going to be pretty good. And then with those warp shards, he can warp right out of this location afterwards, which is pretty convenient.
This is, getting double jump early on in the seed is rarity for the ones that I've commentated, so it's actually very nice to see.
Yeah, and it's so freeing. You really feel like you can go almost anywhere, even if you can't get all of the checks.
When you don't have double jump, everything, even stuff that is like, it's possible, it's just a struggle.
Planeswater picking up that Iron Orb, unfortunately neutral. An Iron Orb Plus would have been a great tool to add to his toolkit here. But then warping out immediately afterwards, which makes a lot of sense. The Twins location is at the end of a long hallway, and warping out is much easier than walking back.
Urza tapped that warp and heading back up to finish up the Burning of Vines and probably do the Azure Queen spot.
Yep, making the usual horseshoe routing, checking the vines up at the top of Lake Serene, doubling back in order to hit the bottom area, and then once you get to the top here, doubling over to the right, and finishing off that sort of horseshoe shape.
We're getting that slow basement loop. Flooded basement on Planeswater side.
Makes sense that Planeswater would finally check it now.
Let's see if it's worth the time committance.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a slow process. With that Blood Orb, though, he's definitely racking up the experience points here. This is pretty good, getting all these kills. He's going to be real strong by the end of this.
Most things in the loop are weak to dark.
Dark Flames also, yep.
Yep.
Urza heading to the left over to that Azure Queen fight. Not sure what we'll see. Ooh, Economizer Ring is nice. Not really any progression, though.
Even though it's minus, it doesn't detriment its economizing effect.
So,
only a very few passive rings actually get anything from the damage rando. I think it's Icicle Orb, Icicle Ring, and something else?
Scythe, Pyro?
Yeah, those guys.
All the ones that deal direct damage?
Yeah. Ooh.
Eternal Coat. Okay, so some quality of life for Planeswater, but nothing progression down here. Grabbing that final item and immediately warping out. Yep, I love these warp traps for him.
That was a smart purchase.
Urza finding the twins at Azure Queen.
You're seeing some orb swapping on Urza's side to get around that slow Radiant Orb attack.
Radiant Orb, extremely hefty. Even at neutral, still dealing a decent amount of damage, especially against the Golden Idol, who is weak to Radiant. Is this the Kantarin check?
Yep, we got an immediate turnaround pivot to check on Kantarin.
Planeswater feeling really confident in his damage now, and understandable. He has literally the best equipment possible, and some fairly good orbs to work with.
He does have the wheel, so he could have gotten into the cheese spot here with Ifrit if he had time stopped right away, but did not. So he doesn't have that many healing items, which might be bad, but we're good. We're good.
Yeah, I think he was digging for an MP item to keep casting that Dark Flames, but
yep.
All in all, just an aura up for his trouble, so not a big deal. But now we have Planeswater following in Urza's footsteps in Lake Serene, with all of the twins and the basement loop and stuff under his belt. Urza stopped before even looking at the basement loop, right? Went immediately to Serene from there.
Yep, hasn't even touched any of the warps, hasn't been to the Merchant's Crow. So I am also going to switch back to Planeswater because I do believe he is ahead. But also, it's Lake Serene again.
Yeah, so Planeswater has a bunch of damage. Planeswater has warp shards, but Urza is, call it a minute to a minute and a half in front of Planeswater on this path that they're on.
Yes.
Now, when Urza eventually doubles back to the palace in order to check all the stuff that Planeswater has checked, that lead is going to disappear. And in fact, I think Planeswater is even going to make up and probably pull ahead at that point.
Yeah, because Urza had that death that Planeswater did not.
Absolutely.
Everything is flooded except for the lake.
But if Urza never goes to check those checks that both know are broadly unnecessary, then he could actually sustain this lead, depending on how he decides to route this.
Yes, it could be they're still necessary if they have to go through the laser gate, but yeah, most part, they haven't really found anything since that wheel for the Timespinner.
Yeah, no real progression. Although, I cannot be understated how important some of the quality of life stuff Planeswater has found. Planeswater has found that Eternal Coat, Planeswater's found that Economizer Ring. That's going to make all of Planeswater's damage and boss fights significantly better. He will be chewing through bosses.
That infinite vertical light wall.
So light wall will definitely help, and that's some incentive to go to Ilana's Towers that Urza kind of didn't have before.
Yep, that will get you through all of Ilana's Tower, and having double jump means that it's not going to be too much of a slog to get through.
God, Flooded Maw is always so slow. Poor Urza.
It's so vertical. It's just...
Right?
Okay, here, I'm floating.
The extremely slow fall to get to anywhere you want to be is such a hassle.
Come on, Lunaeus, just swim down.
Urza didn't know that Iron was neutral, picking up that Colossal Hammer. Even neutral Colossal Hammer is a hell of a spell.
Yeah.
Like, I talked about Dark Flames being not one of the spells you're really looking for, but because it's plus, it's pretty good. Mm-hmm. Colossal Hammer's the other way around. Colossal Hammer is an excellent spell, just a huge, hard-hitting, rune-clearing spell, and even at neutral, it's still pretty good.
Yeah. The only downside is that it has a smaller hitbox, but at this level, people are just these guys are so skilled that they don't even need to think about aiming it. They just do it.
Mm-hmm. It's the kind of thing that you definitely get used to over time, but does take some getting used to if you're not familiar with it. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Planeswater going into the same Twins at Azure Queen location that Urza already fought, and you can really see the difference in the damage.
Oh, and there it goes. Yep.
all of those fire orbs that that Urza didn't have at the time. Urza must have had it all at the time, actually.
Just
but
didn't have the damage that Planeswater does.
Just didn't have the damage. And also the Economizer Ring getting in more spell cast. Like, that was such a huge difference.
I think the Eternal Coat was down in Basement Loop.
Yes,
Something
the Eternal
was
Coat was in
down
the
there.
Basement Loop.
Yeah.
Empire was in the mode, so they both had that. But Economizer also in the Basement Loop. So he could just sit there and cast Infernal Flames over and over and over.
Yeah. And fast behind Urza.
Yeah, you can already see how much he's caught up from where he was before.
Urza desperately swimming away from Planeswater.
That slow swim, oh.
Gives us plenty of time to talk about. So, what are your hopes for this seed? Do you have any specific cursed items you're hoping to see? Or benevolent locations?
I mean, honestly, with the incredible early progression, this seed has already blown any expectations I had out of the water. I'm just excited to see how they route this. I'm always excited to see when people diverge, when they go different places, kind of the reasoning behind why they've done what they've done, given what they had access to. And this is just absolutely thrilling. Even if nothing else interesting happens, this has been thrilling.
Yep, they have the gas mask, so might as well kill the Moss Spot while they're here. Since it's flooded, it would be annoying to come back here if it's necessary.
Planeswater now making his way through the flooded parts.
Flooded Ilana at Maw. Not the worst because they have Blood Orb.
They have surprisingly good orbs for the lack of mobility that an underwater fight saddles you with. Ilana has some quick attacks. Predictable, like well telegraphed, but still quick, and given the low mobility underwater, it can be hard to avoid some of them. But the trade-off then is, as long as you have orbs that can hit, you can hit her from almost anywhere.
But also, there is a little bit of a benefit to doing Ilana Flooded, because you can just sit up when she goes up to do her lightning and be right in her face. Her lightning does get a little cheaty sometimes and might hit you up there, but normally it's really hard to hit her all the way up there.
Yeah, definite trade-offs. So we'll probably see Urza checking out the underwater checks in the Caves of Banishment, the Upper Caves of Banishment now.
I do want to just briefly point out, Urza did the cute little glitch where if you press down and jump at the same time on the elevator, you will be disconnected from it. You still won't be able to move until the elevator hits the bottom, but you will be able to move earlier up so that you can save some time going back up.
Bombardment? Okay. Bombardment, another one of those powerhouse spells that people are going to be on the lookout for. Again, at neutral, it's not as good, but still worth using for anything that's weak against blunt, in the same way that Colossal Hammer is worth using.
Yeah, but they got some good plus options that I don't think we'll see Bombardment very often, especially since we already seen the Golden Idol.
Yeah, Golden Idol, Zarian would be the other big one that you might want to use Bombardment on. But Colossal Hammer is probably easier to use in that situation, and also Zarian's weak to fire, so you're just gonna bust out Infernal Flames.
Just set him on fire. He's got all those webs. It's very flammable.
So time check. Assuming that Urza never goes back and checks the stuff that Planeswater has checked, because we know he doesn't need to, Urza has about 3 minutes, a little bit more, on Planeswater as it stands. That lead will completely disappear if Urza goes back to the right side of the palace and takes the time to do basement loop.
Yes. So Urza needs to realize that, or hope for that, and just keep going the way he's going.
And making progress in the present is going to be good for him. We you know, the commentators over here with our infinite knowledge, we know that this is the right choice for him.
We got the elevator key card picked up in the early Desolation. I was mentioning before, having that with the V key card. Oh, no, that's the elevator key card, sorry, not the tablet.
Yeah.
So they still can't get out of the library, but it does open up a lot of the Varngroth Tower.
Yeah, if they eventually make it to the Varngroth Towers, they probably will. This seems like that kind of seed. No additional Timespinner pieces yet, so
nope.
there's certainly going to have to make some progression into the present.
This few Timespinner pieces at about 25 minutes in, 23, 24 minutes in, makes me feel like they're going to have to go beyond the laser gate.
Could be.
But yeah, there's been some times where I thought that, and then everything was just in one spot.
I'm also really interested to see if Planeswater does the other thing and goes back and gets Alana once he's out of this whole Caves of Banishment loop.
Got the Captain's Cat in sort of adjacent to its vanilla spot.
A little bit late to the party, Captain's Cat. One of the better hats that's available for damage, but Empire Crown, of course, better.
Yeah.
So Planeswater killing Maw here. We're going to see Planeswater probably also doing the upper Caves of Banishment loop underwater. And, there's
that tablet that I was talking about.
So tablet and V card. No Kobo yet, but other than the Ifrit location, Urza has access to everything in the library once he gets there.
Also, Urza did find a source of pink, so that's something Planeswater did not have when they checked the Royal Tower area. They have not checked the pink room yet, so
that's one more reason. Yeah, one more reason to come back into Alana's house.
Young dad at boots.
Well, that'll go quick.
Yep. And he's dead.
Love it. It's always so nice to see end-gamey bosses at the Boots location just get melted by superior orbs.
It would be fun to have a final Boots. Still haven't seen him yet. But there's a lot of boss locations to go.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot to do here. So Urza now probably going to continue here in the present. I can't imagine him warping out at this point.
You have the tablet.
He's going to want to check out the entirety of the library. He's going to want to get those warp shards.
Yeah.
And from there, we'll see what he does.
Yeah, he's got the tablet and V key card. I would go to the library. You know, get those, like you said, get those warp shards. There's a warp right there. There's a lot of free checks. Just go to the library.
Yep, everything's there. And Planeswater now hot on his heels. Urza, did Urza go through the bottom of Desolation, or just took the route across the top?
Across the top. Ooh.
Oh, there's the D key card. Okay, so that's even more progress here in the present. Yet more incentive to continue to fade Alana's towers. This will let them out of the library, and in combination with that elevator key card, get them almost all of the checks in the Varndegrey towers.
We're just missing the C key card for some things, and the A key card for the one Spider Hell in that section.
Yep.
And B key card for a download.
And B key card for the download check in the medbay. B key card also gating the Siren's Caves underneath.
Yeah. But the woohoo! The key card's not gating too many things in the tower. Urza got the Talaria attachment. It is Numi times.
Where was the tablet?
It was Upper Desolation.
Okay, because Planeswater doesn't have it yet, which is concerning.
Yeah, I think it was...
was it in this next room?
I think it was in this next room here somewhere.
Good.
Urza got it...
I was going to be really worried for Planeswater.
Urza got it after coming to the present along this top area here, so it's either here or a little bit later.
So Planeswater there it is. Okay. So Planeswater making these the same kind of pathing, right? Planeswater following just directly behind Urza, no deviations, heading straight to the library.
Got the crow in the merchant crow stash.
What a great place for a crow.
Looks like we are going to see lower desolation on Planeswater, though. A little bit of a deviation.
Saving first so he can save scum out if it ends up not being worthwhile. And and he has the vertical to grab that warp ball on the left side, which is probably worthwhile.
Bees! And just some gear in the upper Kickstarter backer room. We had a actual gear in lower desolation.
So this is going to be important, which means Planeswater is not going to exit out of there.
Oh, Zarian.
He's going to keep it.
Zarian beep. Skeleton. Okay.
Skeleton. Yeah, no A key
not
card
Zarian.
yet.
I got excited.
This is the kind of gamble I would expect from Urza. Just a little bit out of the way, grab this one-off check because it's there, and come back to Zarian later on when you have a key card for it.
Well, we have Urza doing lower desolation, so Urza is going to get that gear that Planeswater has on him.
Yep, coming from the other direction, so they're gonna high five over here in the... Nope. Planeswater has exited out.
Save scum.
Yep. So he knows where that gear is. I don't think he's going to leave that abandoned for too long. But he can come back to it when he has more speed. And when he needs it, knowing that it's there. And in the meantime, saving himself the time of walking back.
Yeah. The Talaria attachment is definitely in Planeswater's sights. I can't imagine them not getting that thing. Urza almost save scummed out, but saw that it was a gear.
And then taking the warp.
Yep.
And a quick look at the ancient pyramid on the map. Where are we headed, Urza? So this is probably where you go to Alana's Towers, right? This is probably where you go to do the right side of the castle and lose all that time you've saved.
Doing an eels check. Might do... No. He already did Serene.
I believe there is... Yeah. They did the kind of horseshoe for Serene, so there's no more checks over there. If he's staying in the present, in the past, there's Bat Ledge.
He's probably doing Canterin here,
which looks like he's going to do right now.
And he got the cheese spot.
Card for Planeswater.
Cheese spot. Nope. Okay.
And once again, assuming Planeswater just continues to follow in Urza's footsteps, and Urza never goes back and checks the stuff that Planeswater already got, Planeswater is about 3 minutes behind, which is fascinating, given that extra time loss that Urza had in the beginning.
Let's see.
It just goes to show how slow the basement loop is when it's flooded.
Urza is doing Castle, looks like. Yep. So here is where Urza starts bleeding that lead.
Exactly. I'm expecting him to do the castle loop, because you don't just skip the basement loop. But...
Yeah. Urza will have Talaria for this basement loop, so it's not as much of a bleed as we were fearing.
That's true. This is going to be a bit quicker for Urza. Of course, they both have Talaria, so that kind of difference is going to stabilize relatively soon. But this location specifically, Urza being able to get this with Talaria instead of having to do it without is a big deal.
Because this was so slow when Planeswater did it.
Absolutely. So Planeswater also in the position now of can go back for Alana's Towers, might, but can also just head over to the elevator towers, given that the D key card in hand and the elevator key card.
Where are we going, buddy? Rail towers?
Yeah.
Rail towers, yep.
Clearing the way for that eventual military hangar. Not that it's necessarily going to be required, but
it's looking pretty promising. We got that pink check here with Planeswater. And nothing.
Standard, really.
Yeah, there's only 2 checks in there, but it is fun when there is something.
So Urza now heading up to Ilana's Towers, taking on the Golden Idol. And yeah, the entire lead is completely gone. Urza now about a minute and a half-ish. Oh no, even more. Planeswater's already checked the courtyard on the right side. So probably about 2.5 minutes behind Planeswater now. Yep, just evaporated, just like that.
Yep. but I am going to enjoy this because this is my favorite song.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know, Pioneer's Horizon, real good. I just love this one.
This is a very good song, absolutely. So Urza now checking the Golden Idol location. We've seen Planeswater do this fight already. We know that there's nothing in particular here, but it is a boss fight that is required if anything past the military angle is required.
We have Genza up at Elana. He is weak to fire, so this is gonna be fun.
Yeah, these fire orbs absolutely carrying. Infernal Flames doing ridiculous amounts of damage per cast.
Jin Inferno, normal. Yeah.
Urza fighting Sandman and using ice against Sandman, which that does work. Sandman weak against ice.
When he's in lion form, it's more effective than the Hourglass
Right, yeah, and a mobile boss. Much easier to hit with ice than a mobile boss.
But then the homing blood orb was real good for the Hourglass form that Urza took advantage of.
Urza over here not able to warp out of the Twins location, which is how Planeswater got out. But with Teleria, it's still not that bad.
We got Kobo up in the top of the tower.
Well, we'll see if that matters.
Some cool sunglasses, and a deer!
Wonderful, wonderful.
Wait, did it not show up on the tracker?
What? Yeah, there's only the one gear on the tracker right now. Oh, because he hasn't gone back to Desolation yet.
Oh, okay. I was worried for a second.
Yeah, he hasn't gone back to Desolation yet, and he knows that there is a gear in Desolation, so at some point he will go back for that. Looks like an early check for the Pyramid. This is really interesting. Checking it from this direction is going to be a lot easier than checking it from the other direction. Especially if Regret is flooded.
Wet regret.
Teleria also pretty good at kind of letting you navigate this area. Yep, there it is, Wet Regret.
It's weak wet. Wrong spellers. Oopsies.
Yep. Urza now following into Ilana's towers. These are checks that Planeswater's already done. So Planeswater now solidly in the lead. Urza's going to have to do a gamble or get something a little bit more out of the way in order to just mix things up here.
Alright, we're getting a regret check. Ow.
I think if Urza heads into the elevator towers from here, that could be good for him. Potentially he wants to make a lab play here that Planeswater is going to be maybe a little later on. I think Planeswater likely to full clear before heading through the laser gate.
And a save scum.
Yep, and we can kind of see him doing that here too, right? Deciding to full clear the Pyramid before even going to Varnagray Towers. Not that he's been rewarded yet, but...
Nope. Using that teleport at the base of the pit to warp over to the left side of the pyramid to get neurotoxin trapped. Great, thanks.
Right? Especially when you need Lightwall to navigate? What a hassle.
Luckily, they do have dash and double jump, so it's not as necessary in this early area. Single jump through the pyramid is just rough.
Really the worst. The actual worst.
Nothing in pyramid.
Alright. Pyramid empty. Still hanging out in the past now. This looks like a waterfall check? Oh, this is a ledge check.
Ledge.
There's up against that Genza at Ilana fight now. And I'm not expecting a pyramid check for Urza, which means
probably not.
Yeah, which means Planeswater's gamble here didn't really pay off, but he's still ahead for all of that.
Yeah.
These are checks that Urza has already made, so we're not going to be seeing anything new on Planeswater's side for a little bit. But I'm not expecting Urza to go that anywhere that Planeswater hasn't for some time as well.
Right.
We haven't seen elevator towers yet, so Varnagray Towers would be a good play for either of our racers. And that kind of opens the door towards Heading into the
Getting
military
the
hangar, heading
Kobo
towards the
check,
lab.
I think. Yep,
That's what this
getting
looks like, yep.
Kobo. Kobo check. They Planeswater tapped that save, so they're heading up to check out that Kobo spot. Where normally you would find Ifrit if we weren't doing enemy randomizer, boss randomizer.
Urza taking a look at his map, trying to decide where to go next.
She is weak to ice and dark, so...
That's Economizer Frozen Spires making short work of. Oh my god!
What was required?
Wow. Okay, Planeswater very solidly in the lead here now. Like, Planeswater was already in the lead, but this is a required check that's a little bit out of the way. We don't always see people going to the Ifrit location.
Need that gear Planeswater knows about, as well as one more.
Planeswater going to get that other gear, and then at that point, there's not a whole lot. There's some one-offs in the past that they haven't gotten yet, but not a whole lot in the past. So it's got to be elevator towers soon.
Or it could be past Laser Gate, which would just be mean if you got this much Timespinner stuff, and then the last one's in way up there or something.
With no B card and no C card, they can't actually make it to the Laser Gate yet.
Yeah, but they could be getting those stuff here.
It's true.
In the tower.
And in fact, it would have to be in the towers. There's really not that many places to go at this point.
Either this is going to be a real fun seed, and the gear's going to be there, or, oh boy, it's going to be a gear hunt. Let's see what kind of seed it's going to be.
Yeah, because if they get those, if they get B card or C card, that opens up access to the entirety of the game. Everything is available, and as you all know, a gear could be literally anywhere.
Yep. It's a gear
They don't yet have access to Zarian's Cave, but that's about the only thing that's being blocked off right now. Once they get either C or B. But as it stands right now, like, there's maybe 10 checks left in the seed without any other kind of progression. Urza getting that spindle. Oh, that's very, very good for him. So they now have, they're close to parity. And if Urza heads into the towers here, he's not that far behind Planeswater.
I agree with this check with Urza.
I agree with it, even though it's wrong for the seed.
You're down one piece. There's a piece right at the door. If it's there... Ooh! Celestial Sash in the tower. Nice.
Celestial Sash going to be convenient, but not a big deal.
Only really important if the important things are over in the Emperor's Tower and... Urza skips Varndagroth Tower going there. Beast, we got the B key card too.
Oh, B key card was in the towers. Okay, yeah, something had to be, right?
Something had to be. Sash didn't really get them anywhere new. We got Urza
that opens
right after Planeswater.
That opens up the right side of the towers, as well as the Siren's Cave underneath the towers.
And download on the right-hand side here opens up a lot.
And military hangar. So that's the entire right side of the map that's now available, given that B key card.
And the lab.
So Planeswater checking out these towers, absolutely fine decision. But you don't have to. There's so much of this seed that's now wide open, they could go anywhere. And that's kind of what Urza's going to need to do. Urza's going to need to make some decisions here that Planeswater isn't. And he has the ability to do so now that he has that B key card.
Remember the new mantra, prove to me that it's required. That we have to go past those lasers. Prove to me! Nothing's saying that they have to yet.
It's true. And very frequently, I think more often than not, we've seen seeds that haven't required you to go past the lasers.
Teeny bit of divergence here, Urza going down to the Siren Caves.
Urza going to the Siren Cave first. I like this play for him. I really do. I'm not even sure if this is I'm behind, I've got to go do this, or if this is just it's in my way, I'm going to go check it out. And if it pays off, that's it. That's the win. That's the seed.
Need some more warp shards on Planeswater side. We got a lot of good movement, good warping.
Like it's so close now. It's just the gear hunt. Any check could do it. Any chest could have the final gear, and then you're just moving on.
Planeswater probably going to check Sirens.
And Urza checking... My god, if Urza checking Sirens instead of going to the right side just that little bit before Planeswater is what
If
makes the
it's
difference.
here. This is going to be a photo finish if it's here.
Oh.
There's that A key card. Might
A
be
is,
bait.
A is certainly a card to find.
That sure is a thing.
That puts Zarian into Logic as well, all of the Zarian Caves. Zarian Caves frequently bait. Zarian Caves also frequently holding 3 pieces of progression. So, you know, it's all just a roll of the dice.
Okay, it wasn't here. That would have been a very tight finish if it was here.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, there's not too much difference in terms of where Planeswater is and where Urza is. Like, we saw Urza with a 4-minute lead. We saw Planeswater with, like, a 3-minute lead. And now, after all of that is shaken out, they're both at a gear hunt state, and they're both checking kind of whatever they want to check, and Planeswater has maybe 30 seconds, right? Maybe a couple of checks over what Urza does. And
I agree, yes.
They're both just rolling dice now. It's whoever rolls high first. And Planeswater doesn't have that much of an advantage here.
Mm-hmm. And they both have the Talaria attachment, so there isn't that worry of one of them finding it and the other not. They both have Celestial Sash. It's just, where is it?
Urza now checking the right side of Elevator Towers, which Planeswater has checked, so that's unfortunately going to be a low roll for him, unless the A key card, Spider Hell, has the thing that he's looking for.
C key card.
C key card for Planeswater. We'll see if that gets him to go back to the towers, or if he's just going to bull on through to the lab.
Probably go through to the lab. You got the
Probably,
tablet.
yeah.
Like,
go back for 2 checks, or go forward for like 1,800 checks.
yeah.
Only a slight exaggeration. There it is!
Poor Spider Hell!
Oh my god, it was in Spider Hell. That's it. That's it. Urza, you mad lad. You goddamn genius. How do you do it? Urza, teach me.
He's just psychic, you know.
He does. He has the
I know
reads.
what it is.
Urza has the soul read on the randomization.
It's Mayef. Mayef is whispering secrets to Linnaeus.
There you go.
The Merchant
Mayef,
Pros didn't give Planeswater anything because they didn't give the pay the fee for the hint.
Oh, it's
That's
pay to
it.
win. It always is.
With the Merchant Crow, Mayef will give it to you for free, though.
So,
Zarian.
the first of 2 bosses is Zarian. Weak to fire and weak to blunt. So we've got a lot of good tools here. Urza struggling a little bit because Zarian's going to hit kind of hard at this location.
Oh, yeah.
And poison is no joke.
Oof. Oh, that slam attack. Nasty.
Yeah. He's got to keep his health up. Like, for all that they have good orbs and good equipment, they don't have, surprisingly, that much experience sitting on, like, 350 health instead of, like, 400, 500 health that they might have at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And Zarian's attacks do hit kind of hard.
Yeah, there's some comments about better spells.
Yeah, Infernal Flame would be a great choice here, but that does take some positioning. And, you know, Zarian will kill you if you aren't careful.
Luckily, we got plenty of things to chug to keep Linnaeus alive.
Yeah, lots of consumables.
Oof. Man, Zarian's just mean.
Zarian resistant to Dark, so that Blood Orb not doing very much.
Nope.
Zarian resistant to Sharp, so that Chaos Blade not doing very much.
There we go.
Just a really rough boss fight for Urza.
And... Varn de Graaf.
But with Planeswater not going back to the towers for that 1 A card check, and why would he?
He's going... They went to the wrong Spider Hell.
Yeah. Like,
That
Urza has a
was bait.
lot of time here to get this done.
Nothing past laser gates was necessary.
Yep, nothing past
Yet
laser gates is
again.
necessary.
It was bait. Man,
Absolutely
prove
incredible.
to me. Prove to me.
I gotta ask Urza about his routing. Oh my god.
Planeswater checking the Ravenlord spot, which has the Maw, not too hard to fight, but as we know, is bait.
Absolutely.
That Pyro Ring Plus doing great work on Zarian here. Not Zarian, Varn de Graaf. You can see the damage over time ticks doing 26. There we go. Let's get some GGs and exclamation points in chat for Urza. Official time of 47 minutes and 55 seconds.
Congratulations, Urza. Well raced.
Oh, thank you.
So, Planeswater didn't double back to check Spider Hell is the main reason why we didn't have a photo finish here.
Okay, I was convinced that death at the beginning was just going to ruin me. I almost forfeit on the spot.
It did put you behind a teeny bit, but then you doubled back to check Spider Hell, and it looks like Planeswater might be doing that. Nope, going to Gyre.
Gyre. Oh no.
Yeah, you both hit the kind of pseudo-go mode of there is one gear left and it could be anywhere at maybe a minute and a half difference.
Wow.
So Planeswater did have a bit of an advantage on you, but Planeswater went to the right side of the towers before going to the Sirenscape, and you went to Sirenscape first.
Yep, and then... Oh boy, yeah, I was fully expecting, it's like, okay, I'll just Warp Shard out of here rather than waste all that mana again, and that was the gear. I was like, oh man.
Yep. Mm-hmm. I gotta ask, you went to Sirenscape before doing right side. Why? What was it? A whisper in your ear? Was it the soul read on the seed? Like,
it was there. Like, I was already having to go along the bottom route. I had just found the B card in the elevator key card room. It was like, okay, I'm right here. Why not just grab this? I like, at the moment I went in there, I was like, oh crap, I forgot to grab the hanger warp first. But I was like, I'm here, I'm committing, just do the thing. You had Talaria, it's worth the extra time to just make sure this happens. Hit the save.
I said it's because Mayef whispered in your ear about it.
Oh, could have been. Could very well have been.
Planeswater, yep, heading to Spider Hell. So we are going to see the finish here pretty soon.
Planeswater seeing Urza's finish and knowing there's only so many places it could have been for a finish that soon.
Right.
So yeah, he checked Spider Hell, who finished off the lab, went to the Gyre, and then went back to the right side of the towers, which correct.
Oh, he's already been through the lab?
He just finished the did he finish the Genza fight or did he warp out of the lab?
I know he did the Ravenlord spot. We were talking. Okay. I got distracted.
I think he did finish off the Genza fight. But he was in the middle of Ravenlord when you won, I think.
Okay, so he was going to the lab while I was doing the final boss.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, that's what I should have done.
Yeah, we were talking about
pretty good against Zarian.
Yeah.
I was like, what are the weaknesses here? And I just could not think of them. I was too freaked out that Planeswater was going to finish any second.
Right, yeah. And that is a huge difference in your boss, if you don't mind me saying so. Like, you spent probably a minute 15 on Zarian, and Planeswater spent maybe 15 seconds.
Yeah, no, I just completely missed on fire. And I didn't even think Ice was good on here, but...
I didn't know Ice was good on Varndegrave either. Yep. Varndegrave. Incredible. Incredible. Good job, Planeswater. So that is an exclamation mark for Planeswater. Planeswater finishing in second with a final race time of 51:27.
We're going to get Planeswater in here for commentating. Welcome, Planeswater. That was a great race.
EG, that was incredible race.
Oh my goodness. So how did that go for you?
I'll be completely honest. I did something really dumb, and I shouldn't have won this race.
Urza died at the start.
I did something pretty dumb too.
Urza died at the start, so that was a rough thing to come back from.
Yeah, I went left from getting the wheel, grabbed the warp, went back, immediately tried to go through the mushroom towers and died. And so I had to go through waterfall again. And yeah.
I mean, I did the eel check before I warped back to the right. So that was one time getting knocked around by eels. But yeah, so what I did was I was in the past. I almost full cleared the past my first go before I ever went present. Like, I killed the Maw. So the whole time I was telling myself, if Talaria is right there in the present, that's awful. it's in fire checks, that's good. If it's on maw chests, that's fantastic. And it was locked behind tablet in fire chests, if I recall.
Yep.
So that I was feeling all right about that Teleria. I was like, okay, this is all right for me.
I thought very similarly. I was like, I have water. I actually remembered to check immediately after I got the wheel I saw that maw caves were flooded before water mass. So I was like, okay, drained lake, flooded maw.
Yeah, I saw it was flooded because I had access to check. I saw that I had access to Jackpot Rim, even with only double jump. So that's another way of checking that maw caves were flooded.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
we had some issues with the restream there, but I think we're back.
Yeah, I think Discord was also having issues. So
okay, we're good. We're good.
But yeah, I was feeling pretty good. I'm assuming we got Talaria about the same time.
Yes.
So that was there was an element of like back and forth between the two of you for a while. Planeswater, you were behind for maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes because Urza hadn't gotten back to check Ilana, and then there was kind of a moment after Talaria. Planeswater still had a bit of a lead when you flip-flopped. Urza, you went back to check Ilana after getting Talaria, and that kind of reset the balance, and Planeswater was ahead for a couple of minutes.
Okay.
But what the biggest
card was in Hangar, right?
A card was flooded left side of it was
Siren.
No.
Modern Siren's Waterhook.
No, Modern Sirens. Yeah. You're right.
Modern Sirens.
I got that, and I was like, well, I literally just checked the rest of Varnagroth Towers. I'm not going there again just for one check. I'm going right.
That's what happened is that Urza went there first and then went to the towers.
Yep. Yeah, I see that. I can see that too. Well, I hope it was a fun seed to race to play. Hope it was a great race to watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to watch it back.
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
It was fantastic. It was such a great race.
You'll get to watch how much I struggled on the final boss because I completely forgot that both of the bosses were weak to fire. So I'm struggling trying to Colossal Blade plus Zarian.
Oh no!
Oh yeah.
It took me like a minute and a half to beat Zarian with a lot of item usage, and you just ripped through Zarian in 15 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, this was just the semifinals. Neither of you had lost a match until this point, so it is not the last we'll see of either of you. Planeswater, you do have to go up against Lunar Ray Games next.
Oh boy.
The exciting match. And then the winner of that will go back up against Urza again.
That means I get a little bit of a break.
Yes.
Yeah. I'll be looking forward to my race with Bodhi. I have not had the chance to go up against him.
That's going to be an exciting race too.
Mm-hmm.
I am looking forward to watching that, and then also to facing off against whichever one of you comes back.
It's going to be very, very exciting. Any final comments from our runners about the seed or the tournament in general?
About the seed, I love Frozen Spires Plus. It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
you
Fire
had
Plus.
some good options at the start, non-traditional options with the Fire Orb as well.
Yeah, that was definitely one of my first times using Blood pretty regularly. I've traditionally been pretty bad with Blood, but I think I finally nailed it in for this one.
I love
Blood
Blorb.
Is really good early. Blood is very good early.
Blorb!
Ramparts, especially.
It's really good against the Shield Knights.
Yeah.
Yep. But yeah, no, this was a great seed. I liked where Talaria was. It wasn't too early. It wasn't too late. It wasn't gonna make or break the seed. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, agreed.
Yep. It was a real fun race. You had a lot of divergence, but like Jim said, there was a bit of back and forth. Real good seed. Real good race.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, I didn't curse you with single jump Ravenlord again.
Yeah, I didn't even see Ravenlord. It was great.
No, I didn't run into Ravenlord. It was probably in the lab somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably. Or like Dad.
One of the two fights or Dad, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That I beat Genza.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
never
think
even
that was
got to the. I never got to laser gates.
Or prove to me that
Damn
you
it.
have to go past there. You don't.
I did.
Laser gate bait strikes again.
Yet
Yep.
again.
I
What a
did
flag
kill
set.
the twins despite knowing what was there because as we killed Golden Idol at Azure Queen, right?
Yes.
Mhm.
I was paying attention to what dropped in the room as we
Oh, there was
finished
an
the
item in
fight.
the room. Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Yeah,
Oh,
it was
that's
just
so cool.
Mm-hmm.
yeah. You can, for like one frame, you can see what the item is. I was like, okay, that's Iron Orb, and then I got Colossal Hammer, regular. So I was like, I don't need this. That's why you saw me dip in and out of the room.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, wait, what? Do I remember knowing what this was?
Wow, Urza, that's so subtle. You are so much better at this game than you give yourself credit for.
Little cheaty peep.
I
little
love
bit.
it.
So, but yeah, no, that was great. That was a great match, Planeswater.
Yeah, same. GG.
GG.
GG's
Great
all
job.
around.
Great job on that,
Exclamation
too.
points, everyone. Let's also thank Speedgaming Live for having us. It's just so fun to do these matches. And yeah, it's been a great tournament. I'm looking forward to the last couple of runs, and then we can all hibernate till next year.
Looking forward to it. So shout outs to Speed Gaming. Shout outs to both of the runners. Go give the runners a follow. Give them your support. Shout outs to Bodhi, developer of Timespinner and Timespinner 2, up and coming. Go wishlist Timespinner 2 on Steam. That is the most helpful thing you can do to get the word out. Wishlist
Yes,
it on
absolutely.
Steam, and that absolutely influences its numbers.
Thank you, Jim, for joining me on comms. I was dreading
my
having to
pleasure.
do this by myself, because this
Oh,
would have
I-
been a nightmare to do by myself.
I love being here. I love doing this. I can't wait to do this again.
Yes.
Yeah,
But I think
thank
we've
you so
done-
much for hosting and organizing.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. Thank Bodhi. Thank Yarno. Thank everyone who's organizing, and thank SGL for getting this on.
Esme, usually our setup volunteer, doing a great work, figuring out lots of problems and pushing lots of buttons. We really appreciate them.
Yeah, we'd be lost
so much.
without all the volunteers.
But I think we will wrap it up here. Have everyone have a good night, morning, evening, afternoon, whatever time zone it might be. And we'll see you in the next one.
Yeah. See you next race.
Bye-bye.
Take care, everyone.